What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Harsh, aka Big Max, and today I thought let's do something different from the usual skits we do to kick off our analytics side. Because, like my mentor Dr. Eric Riney says,
Yes, it's always time for marketing analytics flavor in your ear.
and I agree. So let me sprinkle some up in your ear, and let's go. All right, now, first of all, let's go over what the cluster analysis is. So the cluster analysis is a method that you use to group similar data points based on a shared characteristic. What does that mean? For example, if I have these 10 data points here, right now, they are just data points, scattered all around. You don't have any identification of how similar or different they are to each other, right? But if I run a cluster analysis, I could maybe figure out this makes one cluster and this would be another cluster. Now, from a marketing standpoint, this would mean this is, let's say, cluster one, this is cluster two. Now, if I am a marketing company, I can find out or have two different ways of marketing to each cluster. Let's say M1, which is marketing style one, M2 for marketing style two. Now I have the analysis and the means to market to two different segments of my entire market audience. Okay, so I was gonna go over what it is and why you would use it, but I guess I answered the questions before I even asked them. Now, if you understand this much, you basically have the basic knowledge you need for cluster analysis. Moving forward, the third step is
how do you perform it?
And for that, my friends, we'll have to go into Excel. So let's go. All right, let's start with the cluster analysis in Excel. I'll go at a pace that is both informative, but also not too slow. All right, so step one is always identify the question. Here you have data for max printing for 2023. They ask you to do a 3-cluster analysis. That's what they want you to do. Provide the description for each cluster and suggest how Max should market to each individual segment. And then, of course, there's write-up and recommendations. I'll leave that to y'all. Now, for the actual analysis, the step one is analyze your data. This is the data you have. These are the variables you've been given about these customers. Now, first of all, we need to see what data we cannot use, which is this. You cannot standardize or figure out any kind of useful data using the most recent order column because it's dates. So keep that in mind. You can use every other column. So what we're gonna do is copy all this data. All right, go to another sheet, drop your data somewhere here, and we do not need this. Delete it. Now, step two is you need to standardize your data for cluster analysis. And the quickest way to do it is just follow these steps. Copy all of your data labels, paste them somewhere here, and you'll need two elements to standardize your data, which is mean and the standard deviation of your data. So for the mean part, the easiest way to do it is just do an average of the respective column, press enter, drag it over, and you have it. And you do the same with standard deviation. We're going to use just the STDEV one. Select your data, press enter, drag it out, and there you go. And that is step two wrapped up. Step three is you need to standardize all of this data. And this is how you can do it. Either you can just type it manually, but now we're not going to do that. Here's what I like to do. Type Z here, and this is again all for your reference, delete that. Be like equals, take this, lock it with F4, and this text, right? And you do not need to lock that. Press enter, and there you have it. Z-score of recency. Now we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more columns. We go 8 times to the right, format it nicely, then you have it. Now you could and should always, highlight these in a different way so it helps you later. Now let's get into actually finding the Z-score of all of these variables. Go to your Z recency score, type equals, take your original score, divide that by the mean of it, lock the row in place, close the brackets, divide the entire thing by its standard deviation, close the row again, press enter, boom, there you have it. Now you just fill it out all the way to the right and to the bottom. Now, as you can see, we have a standardized table for all of our data. Any data point you choose, you can see it work. That's just step 3 wrapped up. Okay, everybody with me till now? Awesome. Now to find what clusters these should be in. Copy these, right click it somewhere above here, just paste the values and leave a column above blank. I'll tell you why. What I'm gonna do now is set up this cluster table and I'll speed it up for y'all. This is what you need to set up. So basically we have 5 clusters. Always have more clusters than you need because it's easier to delete clusters than to add it later. All right, this is how you find what cluster you're gonna have at the end of the analysis. What you need to do is perform a VLOOKUP for all of these variables. So we need to look up, see the lookup value, which is 1, and we need to block the column here using F4, right? Because we need it to move down but not across. Comma table array, which is select all of this from the start to the end here, and we need to block the entire array because we do not want it to move at all. Comma column index, the column for company name, which is column number 2, and range, I need an exact match, type false. Boom, there you have it. Customer number 1 is this one. Now, instead of typing column index every time, here's what you can do. We already know this is 1, this is 2, recency score is 12, so we write 12 here, and so on. After you do that, edit this 2 here, select what we put here, and you need to block the row. Press enter and then you have it. And then what you do is fill it across and down. See, if I do all once, you see it's all data for customer 1, right? And that's how you check it. Just do all once for once. And let's revert. That's step 4 wrapped up. For step 5, we're gonna go even more to the right. Now, depending on the clusters you have, we're gonna find the sum of differences of cluster 1 through 5, since we have 5 clusters, and this is the formula you need to run over here. Equals sum of x minus y square. You select the first whole row here, block column for it because you want it to go down but not across, comma, compare it with your first cluster data, and for this one you block the column and the rows. Press enter, fill it across but not down just yet. If you do this setup initially, it'll save you a lot of headache. So you see the first one is comparing the first row with the first cluster. Perfect. For the second one, you need to compare the first row with the second cluster, and so on. Awesome, now you're ready to paste all this down, and the easiest way to check it is just, again, make it all once. It should be all zeros in the first row. Alright, moving to step 6, you need to find the minimum out of all these clusters. So here's what we're gonna do. Minimum distance, type equals min, select the entire row, enter. You do not need to block anything in this one. And as you can see, the first 5 is obviously 0, but this one is right here, the second cluster. Now, how do you visually tell somebody that it's a second cluster without like having to go through here? You just do a match. Here's how you do it. Just type cluster match or whatever you want. We need to use the formula match the lookup value, which is this, to the lookup array, which is this, and match type, I want an exact match again. And you do not block anything, you not lock anything, just press enter, and there you go. So for the first 5, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 because they're all 0. This one, it's cluster number 4. See, I thought it was cluster number 2, but it's 4. It's like much better when you have a visual of the actual number here. When you have this done, now you can move to the main solving of the problem, which is literally using solver. You write the sum of differences here. What you do is simply sum all of these minimum distances, and this is what you need to calculate. All right, so this is the final step you need to do before beautifying your clusters. What we need to do is basically select sum of differences, use solver. If you don't have solver, check out the video on the top right of the screen. When you have it, click on it.
Good.
We set the sum of differences as our objective. We need to minimize the sum of differences by changing the cells, our customer number. So select all 5 customer numbers. Now we do need to set some constraints. Select the customers again, and we have a total of 20 customers. We do not want it to go above 20. So first constraint is going to be customer number should not be above 20. So lower or equal to 20. Second, we don't want it to go below 1. So it should be above or equal to 1. And we do not want customer numbers to be fractions. So we just go integer and add it. Now we select make unconstrained variables non-negative because we do not want negative numbers. Select evolutionary, which is the best one for this analysis, and click solve. Now we wait, and the time here is going to depend on your machine, so I'll just skip to when it's done. There you go. As you can see, solver cannot improve the current solution, which is this, and this result is actually insanely nice. The error is super low, which is awesome. Now what you need to pay attention to is not all of our end results will be same. You can have some other data here and different clusters too, you know. Also check the clusters you got over here. All right, now that we're done with the analysis part, here's the post analysis, which is the beautification and how you can actually visualize the clusters. Now this part can take about an hour depending on, wait, what did he say? An hour?
An hour?
Man, this guy's good, but I'm not trying to do that for an hour, man. I want to go to this party. What's that? Probably nothing. Man, I think I'll have to cancel now. Hey, listen. I don't think I'll be able to... Wait, don't do it. Who the hell are you? Wait, you're from the video. What are you doing in my bathroom? Yeah, I'm Mr. Dr. Professor Hirsch, and I'm from the future. You must go to that party. I need to go to the party? Why? Listen, you going to that party is the temporal point that keeps our future together. If you do not go to that party today,
You will not survive.
so I have been sent here from the future to help you do the cluster analysis beautification better and faster. Not in 1 hour, but in like 2 minutes. So yeah, just get up and I'll help you do it quicker. Tell them the party's on. Okay, now that that's all done, let's aim to do it in under a minute, not an hour. All you do is this. Take all of these variable labels, paste it anywhere you want. Now, the only thing that you don't have in calculations is these parts. Paste it, format it again. Also, you will need an average and a cluster number. Just call it cluster 1. Merge it. I'll leave the formatting to y'all, man. Same here. Now, all you want to do is compare if this thing here, block, the column is equal to 1, right? You put this information in this cell. If not, you put nothing there, just 2 inverted commas and enter. Now, as you can see, it's a 5 here, not a 1, so it does not pop up here. Now, all I want you to do is, like we have been doing it before, paste all across and down. Now you can see every cluster that matches 1 over here has data popped up here directly from these rows. Okay, now if you want to copy the same cluster structure for all 5 clusters, let's do this. Copy and paste it like 4 more times. All right, now let's go in sequence. I'll speed it up for you a little bit. Now that all of them are looking good and distinct, here's where we're gonna change the formula at. So for the first one, you can see we're matching this one, and if this is 1, it shows the data here from all of these rows, right? So the same thing you want to do is go to the second cluster. First of all, change this to a 2. So when the match is 2, it shows data here. Another thing, this value must have shifted to the right. So you go here again, drag it all the way to the first cell here, and then you copy across and down. Now you can see whenever the match is a 2, you see the data here. Do the same thing for all of your clusters. I'll speed it up for you. Need to be careful with this one since both were on the same cell. Move it back to the first cluster match. Basically, the easy way to remember it, you need to move the red one to the beginning. And there you have it. Now, every time there's a 5 here, for example, which it is, you'll see all data from here all the way over here. Okay, now for further visualizations and grouping, this is what you do. Copy one of these, again, paste the values, call it something like total summaries, change this to cluster number, and this one to total customers. Then all you do is type it down. For each cluster here, you copy this code here without the and, equals, paste it, there you have it. Now if you see the sum here, we have all 20 clients accounted for. For this data, it's even easier. What you do is equals, take the first average, which is the recency, and that's it. Drag it across. Same for the rest. Now further beautification can be just take the decimals out. Awesome. Okay, you can beautify this further however you like. And now moving to the main question that started it all. Here's why I said it's better to do more clusters than fewer ones, because now if I want to do a 4 and 3 cluster analysis, I'll just copy these. Let's rename these for more clarity. Awesome. So this is what you do. According to your clusters, you can delete the following. You don't need to analyze this one. Delete this one. It's already gone. This and this. I mean, you can choose not to, but whatever. And let's do it with third one too. These two, since we need only 3 of them. All right. Now you go to your 4 cluster, and all you do is run solver again with a little change in your variables. So select these 4, change all of these to these 4. Oh yeah, and for the integer one, it might not let you change it like that. That's okay, just do integer again and you're good to go. Just press solve, that's it. There you see we have the result for a 4 cluster analysis. Let's do the same for the third one, changing these cells and just running solver again. There's a result, and going back to the question here, you can see now you need to do a description for each cluster. So analyze all these, see what you can figure out, give a recommendation for the owner on how they can market to each cluster, and analyze if more or fewer clusters is better. So that's what you do, analyze them, and at the end of it, give them more summarized information here, something like this. Here's the cluster analysis I did beforehand. Here's an example for y'all. So the data here gives me these insights, which is basically how you answer the questions to your client, and everybody's gonna have their own insights on things and how to market. So I'll leave that to you. Also, here's some important information to give them. So basically all of our raw data that we had was in different scales. These from like 1 to 4. These are arbitrary numbers, like they are continuous from 0 to infinite, and these are mainly from 5 to 10. So there's another way to do it, is to standardize this entire data before you run the cluster cluster analysis. Like the video if you want to check it out in the next video. Leave your comments if you're interested in seeing that one. If you don't want to do the standardization process beforehand, just leave a note for whoever's reading your data here, just because they know what scale they're looking at. Alright, so there you have it. Cluster analysis all wrapped up. Hope I made it concise and informative enough for you to enjoy. And if you want to see videos similar to this one, don't forget to rate the video, like it, subscribe, and comment, share it with your friends. I'll see you all in the next one. See ya. Man, I'll have to clean that up now, huh? Didn't think that through.